So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can add a headless CMS to your Astro project. So if you don't know what a headless CMS is, so I basically went to Google and it says a headless CMS is a backend only content management system that separates where content is created and stored from where it is displayed. So what it basically is just, as it says, a content management system that you can use to store data such as text, images, and so on. And you can then deliver those data via an API to any front-end presentation layer. So the front-end presentation layer now can be something like Astro, which we're going to be using, or it can be React, it can be Servlet, it can be any framework or any language depending on the CMS we are using. And again, in this video, we're going to be using Sanity CMS and it supports different frameworks. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go to our documentation right here and I'll go to the installation guide. So basically I'm using PNPM and I will go to VS Code. I already have a project opened called headless CMS. So if you have an existing project, you can still follow along and integrate Sanity to it. And also, I forgot to mention, apart from Sanity, we have other content management systems such as Contentful, we have Strappy, and I think we have Payload. So there are a couple of them, but I like Astro a lot. And if you watch my videos, you know that I use Sanity a lot. So again, I'll go to the installation guide and I'll just copy this command right here. I'll go to VS Code and I'll open my terminal. So say Command J and I'll clear this out. Then let me push this up a bit. Then I'll paste in that command right here. And at the end, I'll add a period like so. So it's going to create an Astro project inside our headless CMS folder. So I'll hit enter. All right, so it's telling us how we'd like to start up our new project. I will just select the first option. For the dependencies, we'll say yes. For a Git repo, I will say no. I don't want to initialize a Git repo. All right, so our project has been initialized and I clear this out like so. So this is not an Astro course, and I believe that since you're watching this video means you already have an idea on how Astro works. So I'll just quickly start up my server so that you know that it's working. It should spin up on port 4322. So it's supposed to be 4321, but for some reason 4321 is in use. So what I will do is I will just go to my terminal. So I will just I have a command here that I can use to kill. Oops, let me try that again. So say 3000, and I'll say this should be 4321. I'll kill this. Then what I will do now is I will kill this server and say pnpm dev again. Hopefully it should open on 4321 now. But on your own case, it will just open directly on 4321. So let me just quickly scooch this properly. All right. And also, okay, I think it's okay like this. So if we go to localhost 4321, we should see our content right here. All right, so the next thing we need to do is to head over to Sanity. So just head over to sanity.io. I have an account, so if you don't have an account, you should create an account. And again, I'll just copy the command right here. And I'll go back to VS Code and I'll open a new terminal. Or you know what? I'll just kill this one. Then I'll paste the command here. So since we're using pnpm, I'm just going to change this guy to pnpm. And at the end, I'll add a period sign as well. Or you know what, I'm just going to leave it like this, so it's automatically going to just let us create it on the default folder. All right, so since I'm using pnpm, it's telling me to choose the packages I want to build. So I'll just select A to select everything, then I'll hit enter, then yes, I approve. All right, so I have some templates already. So in your case, you shouldn't be seeing all this right here, I'll just click on new, create new project, and I will just call this headless CMS studio. Then I'll select my account. So in your case, you should select your account, or rather your organization. Then for the default dataset configuration, I will just say yes. Then for the project output, I will just accept the default path. And again, I will select a clean project with no predefined schema types as well. Then for TypeScript, to say yes because we want to use TypeScript. So our studio has been created. So all we just need to do is to head over to, or rather cd headless. Or you know what I'll do? I will just run pnpm dev first, like so. Then I will open a new terminal here and say cd headless cms studio, like so. And I'll say pnpm dev. All right, so I'm having this error here that says local package or JSON exists, but node modules missing. So if we check the folder, okay, there's no node modules. So I think there are a couple of ways to go about it. So the first way is to obviously use Claude to just fix it. But I'm not going to do that in this case. So what I will do, I can just quickly go back to our root folder, which is the headless CMS, and just try a pnpm install. Okay, so that didn't fix anything. So if we check now, okay, so another option, so let me clear this, to cd back into the headless CMS studio. All right, so what we'll do now is that on our workspace we need to register this headless CMS studio. So I can just come here and say packages, like so, and I will just say headless CMS studio. I believe this has been written, so let's test it out now. So I can just say pnpm I. So you can see now that it's installing the dependencies that are needed. All right, so it's done. We can close this now, and if we check the folder, you can see a node modules folder now. So, and it also has a git ignore file too. So I will just say pnpm dev is now going to spin up a new port. I think is port 333. So you can just copy this, so, and on our browser I will come here and paste here and just open it right here, like so. So it's going to tell you to log in. So whatever provider I use to sign up, that's what I use to log in. So I use GitHub to sign up. That's what I'm going to use to log in. All right, cool. So we are in now. So in order to test it that it's working, I'm just going to come right here, and this is the part where I'll just let Claude do his thing. So I will come right here. So you can use the Claude code from the terminal. I'm just using the one from my extensions. So I'll create a new session. I will say please help me create a basic schema to test the for sanity, and you can fetch a content and render it properly on Astro. So this is a very, very basic prompt, but I'm sure it's going to figure out what he intends to do, or rather what he needs to do. And I just noticed that for the Sanity project, there's no agent.md file, which is weird. Um, I know they have like an MCP, but there's supposed to be an agent file. But anyways, I'll just accept this one. All right. So while I let Claude do his thing, I just want to do a quick sponsored ad for myself. So in case if you need a template for your projects, either your personal project or a client project, you can head over to webcreative.com/templates, and you can browse through the templates that we have, and we plan on adding more to it. It's quite a little number, but like I said, we plan on adding more. And if the template you're looking for is not in this list, you can just come right here and add the template idea and your mail. And once you send the idea to us, we'll build it and notify you when it's done. And as you can see, the templates are not AI generated. So go to webcreative.com/template to get yours. The link will be in the description. All right, so it's done. So I'm just going to walk through the schema it created and how it's rendering it. So first of all, let's even see how it is on the UI. So you know what? I think I will have to go to my index page. Okay, so it's under blog. So you know what we'll do? Let me see if I can get rid of this whole component and save. So if I click view blog now, okay, blog is quite empty. Okay, so to test it out, I can open my terminal like so, and I'll say pm dev again. So let's see. All right, so it's running. So if I go to let me just go to the default part, yeah. While the the Sanity is already running. So what I will just do is to quickly set it up, then I'll explain what's happening in the code. So it created a post table and an author schema rather. So I can just say the post should be click plus right here and say demo. Let's just say demo post. Now we generate a new slug. And the author, we don't have any author now. Let me just create a new one. So let's say Dev Lawrence. So the author has a slug as well. I think this is option now. I just say testing. So I'll click on Dev Lawrence here. So let me publish this one. Okay. So we can close this part out. We don't need to come to this authors schema anymore, or this authors table. So for the main image, do I have an image? Let me just quickly upload something. I just put something here, testing. This will work. Adding a CMS. Then underneath we can add like, okay, this is it. So I'll just click on publish. And if everything goes well, we should see, if I refresh this and click on view blog, we should see that blog right here. And if I click on it again, we should see like a details page. So let's just quickly go through the code. So from the CMS side of things, basically created some schemas. So we have the auto schema right here, which has like different fields of name, um, slug, image, and bio, and the preview. So the preview is basically this right here. So it's going to render. So we also have like a block content. So the block content has to do with the actual body right here. So things like image, bullet points, and whatnot. And lastly, we have the post schema, and the post schema is the actual post, which is this one that has different fields as well. Then this index.ts file is where we just like export the different schema that we created. So this is basically it right here. So in terms of rendering it to the client now, and in this case, the client we are using is Astro. So I will just go to the blog right here, and I'll go to index.astro, and I'm having an error here. So I'll leave this. Oh, you know what? Just throw an any for the, so this won't work. But you shouldn't do this by the ways. So basically, if I go to the utils folder right here, so we have a sanity.ts, and basically this is where we can query our schema that we created. So to query the schema that we created, we can do that using the define query from Grok right here. So basically just use the type underscore and select the post schema, which is this, and we are making sure we're getting the current slug, and we're ordering it by descending. So that's how it's going to render from the descending order. And this is the function that we're calling on our front end right here, which is the get post, this one right here. So basically we're just saying, okay, create a function called get post and use the Sanity client to just fetch this post query like so. Then we're still doing the similar thing for the slug and for post by slug. So if I come to the index of Astro now, you can see the same pattern right here, and basically we're just mapping over it and rendering the slug, the image. And for the image, we use another function called URL for. So if I click this, so if I command click this, you see that we're using this builder.image, which is coming from this create image URL builder. Is it a function or a component now? I think it's a function from this Sanity package and from the image URL. So this is what it's using to render the image properly for us to see. And I believe, yeah, that is basically it. And again, some things you should take note of is that you can view or manage your project from your dashboard as well. So I can just come here and click down and you see manage project. So if I click on manage project, it's going to take me to a details page about that project, and I can just browse through some things. So this is the project ID, which is very, very compulsory because we are using it as well. Without the project ID, you can't even do anything. So if I go to the sanity.config.ts, you'll see it right here. So project ID and the data set. Then it depends on what you are building. You'll see need something called tokens as well. So you can create a custom token which is private to you, that you can use to authenticate apps and scripts to access different project data. So basically you can now write to your CMS and you can read just back and forth. All right guys, so that's the size of the video, but before we go, you'll notice that so far we have our clients on one port and we have our CMS on another port. But if you want a case where you need a single port for your client and maybe do like a forward slash admin or something else to access your CMS, you should watch this video that's showing on your screen or that's popping up in the card right now. Do well to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you found the video helpful, and I will see you in the next one.